Hello everyone. So let us learn what exactly the reconciliation means. I welcome you all to this course Certification in Quantity Surveying, and we are learning about the new concept which is really important in case of the construction industry or in any industry, because reconciliation is something which is going to be very essential component while the process of final bill of your project, because reconciliation gives you an idea regarding amount of material that you were expected to utilize and the amount of material you actually have utilized. So there is always a variance between them, there is always difference between these two, and that is a difference which is going to cause a trouble to the contractor if the material used is been used more as compared to the material which was provisioned. So reconciliation gives you an idea regarding how much quantity of material you have used extra or how much of quantity of material you have in a surplus, so that based on that the client is going to give you a debit to you or a credit to you. That is a discussion, and that is all analysis comes under the part of the reconciliation. So let us learn what exactly the reconciliation means. First one, it is a process of determining the concerning factors which are responsible for the quantity variance of the construction item. Suppose some quantity is to be varied, means 50 m cube concrete was allowed for me for the construction, and due to wastage or some poor manpower, workmanship and everything, I used by 51 m cube. So this 1 m cube extra usage was not provisioned in a contract. So who is going to pay for that is a contractor. So that analysis has been done under the reconciliation. This is the process of finding out extra uses of the construction material than the provision, as we have discussed. Reconciliation helps to keep the vestiges and unspecified usage in control, as they can cause a hefty debit to the contractor. Now, many times what happens that if labor are ignorant, then they go on using, suppose, just take example, a slab casting is going on, and it has been mentioned in the slab that the main steel in a slab is 10 dia, and by mistake the engineer over there or a centering that person over there who takes it as a 12 dia. So now what has happened, it is totally a different steel that we are using. Obviously amount of weight as per the 10 steel and 12 steel will be different, so that is going to cause a trouble to me. So that's unspecified usage and the vestiges we need to keep in a control. For that, why reconciliation is done. And the reconciliation is not only done at the end of the project, reconciliation is done at the every running account bill, so as to keep a track of total amount of vestiges per month or per running bill, you can say, so as to have a control over there. So what exactly is being missed. So if suppose you are doing the reconciliation at the end of the project only, then what will happen, you will not come to know that what was the cumulative mistakes that you have made. Other than that, if you have done this reconciliation at every running account bill, so what will happen, you will come to know that during this running account bill only this mistake has happened, or this wastage is more, or this process has been unspecified, and the workers have done that. So that only can be cured in the next running account bill. So that is why reconciliation is very important to be done for the every running account bill. So the variance in a quantity, that's a difference in a quantity, can take place because of the materials that are received. There are other than of unit weight, size and length, or whatever the standard size, length and a unit weight they do have. If they're not received as per that, because whatever the calculation we do as per the standard dimensions. So if the material that received on the site is not of that same dimensions, it is going to cause a trouble to me, because the calculations will be with the help of the standard ones, and the final result will be based on whatever the material we have received. So obviously there is going to be the difference. And another factor is that the wastages due to the improper utilization and the poor workmanship, these two are major. Most of the time the material whatever you receive on a site are of most of the time standard size. Sometimes it may vary based on only for steel or some other material, but due to the poor workmanship or improper utilization, the reconciliation plays a into that, the reconciliation, they do play a huge role into that. So let us take a simple example of a different specific unit weight and length, height, whatever we are expecting that example. So let us suppose 100 metric ton of the 16 dia bars have received of F500 grade, that we have procured them. Assume the weight of the bar received is 1.63 kg per running meter. Okay, Then this variation details, how am I going to calculate for this whole consignment. So whatever this 100 empty I have received, for that how the weight variation, only we are talking about the weight variation due to the different in weights. Okay, so the first one, total weight of steel received, that is 100 kg, that is equal to 100 metric ton. Then we know that standard weight of the steel is 1.58 kg per meter, that's a standard. Okay, now the length of steel received, now whatever the steel we have received, let us calculate the length for that. How we are going to do that? So 100 metric ton divided by 1.633, that is the weight of the received bar that we have received. We are going to get the length to be 61,349 based on the actual weight that is been received on the site. Okay, then the length of the steel as per standard weight, what it was to be, 100 kg divided by 100 metric ton divided by 1.58, that's a standard one. So based on that, the length is coming to be this one. So now how am I going to calculate the loss of a weight in a percentage? That is weight of a bar received minus weight of a bar standard divided by weight of a bar standard. That is a formula. Okay, so this comes to be 0.05 divided by 1.58, that is 3.16% is the loss of a weight, because of I expected it was to be a 58 but I received it was to be a 63. So now this is whatever the extra is there, that is causing me the weight loss. Okay, now the weight computed by the measurement and the standard weight, how we are going to do that? So the whatever the length that actually we have received on site into the standard weight, length of received on the site into the standard weight, that is 96,000, nearly 97,000 you can say kg is the steel that we have lost. Okay, that is actually the coming one, and the loss of weight will be, this is 100 metric ton minus 96,932.50, that is this much of steel weight loss we have already taken, as we were expecting the steel to be weight 1.58 kg per meter, but we have received it to be a 1.63 kg per meter. Okay, so this is one example. What are the other examples? The other examples are in case of the steel, if you want to take an example, this is about the steel, there are cut-offs, then scrap, then if the bar bending is not proper, then a cutting loss is due to in a cutting. As we have already discussed, the bar is of 12 mm, the standard size of bar is 12 meter, out of which if we are going, I'm going to cut it into the defined pieces. If I'm going to have a leftover piece whose length is more than 2 meter or 2 meter, that I can use somewhere. Okay, if its length is less than 2 meter, it's of no use to me, it has to be thrown into the scrap. So I need to define that bar bending schedule so properly, so as to keep the whatever the wastage that do I have, it means the length that are going to be left over will be less than, will be obviously more than 2 meter, and most of the time I have to keep a track of that. Okay, then what are the laps and chairs and spacers we are going to have, so that we should be keep, because these are the things which are not going to paid. Laps and chairs and spacers are never paid. Actually they are for the convenience of the contractor. Actually they are the part, as they don't play any role into the load carrying, so don't get paid for them, so you have to pay on your own for that. Another example, let us take for the actual how the reconciliation takes place. The first one, we need to know the supplied quantity, that is up to this running RA bill, how much of quantity I have received on the site. So let us take example of cement. Let's suppose I have received in total 120 bags of cement on a site. Okay, and practically consumption, if I want to calculate, means what, means how much of quantity that we have actually consumed on a site, that this is a quantity we have consumed practically. Okay, so that is 100. Let's suppose now theoretical balance should be 20, that is 20 bags should be there in a storeroom, but actually I am finding only 17 bags. Now why it is happening? Because of some of the maybe the wastage, maybe we have the practical consumption taken on based on the theoretical that we have calculated, and along with it practical consumption. But sometimes it might happen that some bags are misplaced, some are utilized more, or some mortar was to be casted and the calculation was wrong, and I had to provide one another extra bag. So because of that, I have actually 3 bags shorter. Now what this 3 bags calculation is all about, the reconciliation, that who is going to pay for these 3 bags is obviously the contractor. So this is what we are going to do for the reconciliation. So let us focus more on reconciliation of the steel and the cement, because these two are costly material of the any construction site. So we'll be calculating them. So basically you need to remember that reconciliation is all about this table. So you need to know whatever the quantity that you have received, whatever the consumption that you have done. So subtraction of these two will give you the theoretical balance or the actual balance that you were expected to be there in your storeroom, and whatever actual quantity that is there in a storeroom. So the difference between these two will give you the number of bags or kg of steel that has been missing. So that's all the reconciliation is all about. So let us see reconciliation in detail in the next videos. With this, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.